Big changes on the way for your weather on Wednesday as this cold front moves through Central Texas. We'll track the impacts in First Warning Weather.
A status check on the city of Austin's effort to create more housing opportunities. The data is out there, but there's a struggle to find out the impact it's having on the community.
A KXAN investigation finds assaults on school employees across Texas is increasing, what experts say is adding to the concern and the options for victims.
Well, first tonight, an in-depth look at whether a plan to help tackle housing affordability in Austin is doing what leaders said it would do. You'll remember the Home Initiative was part of the push to increase the number of places for people to live and ideally drive down prices. Thanks for joining us. I'm Daniel Marin.
And I'm Jennifer Sanders. And a reminder now about what Home is. Let's start with the first phase, which in part allows up to 3 units to be built on some single-family lots and allows tiny homes to be considered one of those units. The City Council approved Phase 1 last December, and the city opened its application process in February of this year. As of Monday, the city tells us 260 applications have been filed under Home Phase 1.
There's also Home Phase 2, which largely reduced the amount of land needed to build a home. The city says as of Monday, there have only been 4 applications filed since August. And
the groups that were so vocal against those changes are now asking, where's the data? KXAN's Grace Reeder got an answer to that question.
It's a City of Austin initiative intended to incentivize the creation of more housing. We're talking about the Home Initiative. You may remember that starting last year, a coalition of groups actually rallied against it, including Go Austin, Vamos Austin, or GAVA. That's a nonprofit that works to improve East Austin communities.
It plays into an oversimplified perception of supply and demand and increasing supply in housing, which is important, but can be really folly without nuance and specificity of what kind of housing we're trying to produce, without any kinds of affordability requirements.
Now, as applications roll in under Home, you should be able to analyze the impact yourself. But as we talk to those groups that have been so vocal against Home Tuesday, they say they've struggled to get the data.
I think it's important for us to look geographically at where they have fallen. I know they've been all over the city, but like, what are we seeing? Where are we seeing it? And what are we getting?
What we do know is that between Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the Home Initiative, more than 260 applications have been submitted as of Monday. The city does have some data on that on its Home website, and each application is technically public record if you know where to look. And that frankly required the help of the Development Services Department, who provided me 264 folder names Tuesday evening, which all need to plug into this database individually. I'm doing that for you, trying to answer some of the questions that these groups are seeking answers on.
We should be getting some numbers on that. Right now, we have nothing from what I can see. It's left to the citizens to do their own calculations.
The city's Development Services Department says they're working on it too, though, and a compilation of data will be included in a report that comes out in February. Grace Reeder, KXAN News.
And one of the major concerns groups had is how the Home Initiative will impact areas already experiencing displacement, most notably East Austin. That's why Grace is looking through the addresses specifically in this data, and when that's compiled, you will find it over at KXAN.com. Well, now to some breaking news. The Lake Travis ISD School Board placed Superintendent Paul Norton on leave tonight, pending investigation. According to the district, the board reviewed a report containing an allegation of misconduct. We don't know what that report entailed, as it was discussed during closed session. Assistant Superintendent Pam Sanchez was named acting superintendent for the time being. We have reached out to the district for more information, and we'll have any updates overnight on KXAN.com.
Okay, let's take a live look now outside of downtown Austin. It's a dry and calm evening, but that will change tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Nick Bannon is here to tell us about the rain, the wind, as well as the temperature change.
Yeah, it's going to be a weird day where our high temperature happens in the morning.
Ooh, okay.
And then we get colder as we head toward the middle of the day, with only a little warm up for the afternoon. Let me first dig into the numbers that we have outside right now. Upper 60s and low 70s for many of us. A few spots in the hill country closer to the low 60s, but but certainly warmer than we should be this time of night. A mostly clear to partly cloudy sky now. There are much thicker clouds on the way, though. We'll also get some low clouds and fog coming in, and it's now easier to see where our cold front is. It's already creating a line of downpours and storms in portions of Oklahoma, and this line will start to extend farther down the front as we head through the night and into the day tomorrow. So overnight, increasing clouds. We'll also see fog and drizzle starting to develop. In fact, we're a little concerned about that fog because tomorrow morning, this is 6 o'clock, we could have some areas, especially in our eastern counties, of very low visibility, half a mile or less. Fayette County already under a dense fog advisory from 3 a.m. through 9 a.m. tomorrow. But we may get some fog elsewhere too, and there also may be some drizzle that make things a little damp, and that's before our cold front gets here. So we'll track the arrival of that cold front, including the showers, the wind, and the temperature changes ahead of yet another dry stretch.
Right, Nick, thank you very much. We have some more breaking news right now involving an apparent crash and mass shooting near Baltimore, Maryland. There is limited information, but police say they are investigating a shooting at a funeral home that left one person dead and 9 people injured. We'll continue to update this story on KXAN.com and tomorrow morning on KXAN News Today.
Hundreds of people, some with wooded crosses, gathered in front of Wisconsin's state capitol in Madison to honor the lives lost during yesterday's school shooting. This vigil started with a moment of silence. 3 people died, including the shooter, and several others were injured when police say a 15-year-old student opened fire. And today, police said everyone was a target at Abundant Life Christian School. As far as the why, police are talking to students to find out if bullying was one of the factors that contributed to the shooting.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is now suing the Biden administration after reports of border wall materials going up for auction. AG Paxton says if true, the Biden administration is violating a federal court order. Now, earlier this week, we told you Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick said the state agency in charge of building the wall in Texas reviewed the materials that are up for auction in Arizona and said the items for sale were mostly junk and a few panels might be usable but not worth shipping to Texas.
New York's governor is expected to file an extradition order now that a grand jury indicted Luigi Mangione in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. That indictment also charges Mangione with 2 counts of second-degree murder, one of which is charged as a killing in the act of terrorism, and a handful of other weapons charges. Mangione is in Pennsylvania, where he was arrested last week.
New tonight, congressional leaders released the bill to avoid a partial government shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the short-term spending bill will keep things running until March 14th. The House and Senate have until the end of the day on Friday to pass something. Some House Republicans, including Central Texas Congressman Chip Roy, wanted to see spending cuts.
As long as you got a blank check, you can't shrink government. If you can't shrink government, you can't live free.
The spending package includes $100 billion in disaster relief after Hurricanes Milton and Helene, and also $10 billion in economic assistance for farmers who report less income on average for the 2nd year in a row.
New protections for travelers with disabilities. Today, U.S. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg announced the new requirements. Now, these include training mandates for airline staff and updated guidelines for quickly repairing or replacing wheelchairs damaged during flights. As a wheelchair user herself, Senator Tammy Duckworth says flying can be a huge challenge.
Those of us who roll down jet bridges will be treated with the same amount of dignity as those who walk down them. At this point, I don't think I can even count the number of times that an airline has damaged one of my wheelchairs.
In 2023, the Transportation Department says it got over 11,000 reports of airlines mishandling wheelchairs. The new rule is set to take effect January 16th.
Walmart surveillance is apparently going mobile. The retail giant started testing out a program that allows employees to wear body cameras. Stores participating in the pilot program have signs at entry points advising shoppers of this. A spokesperson for the company sent this statement to our sister station in San Francisco, quotes, "While we don't talk about the specifics of our security measures, we are always looking at new and innovative technology used across the retail industry." The spokesperson did not name the market testing body cameras, but CNBC reports employees at a Denton store in North Texas were wearing them.
The number of school employees being assaulted on the job is rising in Texas.
More than 2,600 assaults on educators were reported last school year, according to new data from the Texas Education Agency. KXAN investigator Kelly Wiley is tracking what happens after teachers are hurt in the classroom.
When Tiffany Robinson began teaching in Texas, she never imagined she'd be writing this letter 18 years later.
Gerald ISD trustees, I am writing to formally resign from my position as chemistry teacher at Gerald High School effective immediately. Just a lot of disappointment. You just get worn down.
The last straw, she says, was on a pep rally day at Gerald High School when she says a rowdy group of students eager to leave class got in her face.
Cussing me and telling me, F you, you're going to make me late to my next class. And they were getting up out of their chairs and coming forward, and it was getting ready to get out of control.
By the time the bell finally rang, Robinson decided this would be the end of her near 2-decade teaching career.
I was crying, went to the associate principal, and I told her, I said, I'm done, I'm resigning. I'm not doing this. I'm not taking this anymore.
Gerald ISD officials told us they work hard with campus police and administrators to build an environment where teachers can perform their duties without fear, harassment, or violence. They also said schools need additional funding for security initiatives and mental health resources. The incident in Robinson's classroom stopped short of any physical assault, but new data from the Texas Education Agency shows the number of assaults perpetrated by students against school staff statewide rose 18% last school year compared to the year before.
It's definitely increased, probably for several factors.
Zeph Capo is the president of the Texas chapter of the American Federation of Teachers, an organization representing more than 65,000 educators.
The lack of behavioral supports, the lack of mental health services that we've seen in the state of Texas, none of our mental health providers, whether it's counselors, social workers, psychologists, meet the recommended student to professional ratios in the state of Texas.
Under Texas law, teachers who are assaulted at school can request what's called assault leave, paid days to recover from physical injuries that can't be deducted from the employee's personal accrued leave. The law says districts must immediately approve assault leave once it's requested. But our analysis of district policies found if a district later determines an incident didn't meet the criteria, the district can retroactively deny the request.
If something doesn't rise to the level where it gets approved, for example, by a workers' comp doctor, then a teacher may actually lose their own personal leave to heal from an assault. Not every assault results in a teacher being hospitalized or needing, acute medical care follow-up. But, sometimes you don't want to go back in the classroom the next day.
KXAN analyzed data from Central Texas school districts between 2018 and last school year. Among the 29 Central Texas districts that responded to our survey, district officials reported at least 340 assaults on employees in that time frame. But those districts received far fewer assault leave requests and approved just 46 requests collectively. Robinson says she hadn't planned on retiring for several more years. But at 56, she's starting a new chapter and a new career in real estate.
I don't want to go back. It's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. The problems have gotten worse through the years, and I don't see it getting better.
So far for this upcoming legislative session that starts in January, lawmakers have not pre-filed any bills to address assaults on educators. There hasn't been any significant legislation on this issue since 2019, when lawmakers added harassment to the list of behaviors for which a student must be removed from the classroom. In Austin, Kelly Wiley, KXAN Investigates.
And nationwide, teachers are also reporting higher numbers of physical violence and aggression at schools. A 2024 study from the American Psychological Association found a sharp rise in teachers reporting threatening aggression and physical violence.
And researchers found there were even more reports than before the pandemic. You can read our full investigation on our website at KXAN.com.
Okay, after 2 days in a row of 80s in Austin, this cold front is going to change that. Starting to bring some showers and storms to Oklahoma, and eventually at least a broken line of showers should get into Central Texas here tomorrow. Before it gets here, the low clouds will increase. Fog will start to spread through the area, and there will likely be some areas of drizzle as well to begin your morning even before our front gets here. Here will likely be the location of the front at 5 in the morning with a few spotty showers, and then we start to see more scattered showers showing up as we get through 6 and 7 o'clock. Mostly in the hill country and perhaps the northwestern metro at 7. But then we get toward 8, 9 o'clock. And then we start seeing those showers arriving in the majority of the rest of the metro and even parts of our eastern counties. Now, for the most part, these will just be plain and generally light showers, but we may get 1 or 2 thunderstorms in the mix as well that could produce some locally heavier rain. These showers continue to move off to the southeast so that by late morning, our southeastern counties are getting the rain. And then by midday, that front and the rain has cleared through the area. And then we'll see just increasing sun as we head into tomorrow afternoon. And then we'll stay sunny the rest of the work week. How much rain where you are? Well, we're just about all in the same boat here for tomorrow with a 1/4 inch or less. In fact, most of us will be way less unless you get a thunderstorm pop up over where you are. We're all going to feel the wind here tomorrow as that front gets here. That's when the strongest wind gusts will arrive in the order of 20 to 35 miles per hour here in the morning through the middle of the day. The wind will come down a little bit in the afternoon, but it's still going to be breezy, say gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. And then the winds will start to settle down somewhat as we get into your Wednesday evening. So we've talked about the rain, we've talked about the wind. Let's talk about the temperatures. I expect high temperatures tomorrow will be in the morning. We'll head for 68 between 9 and 10. Just before the front gets to you will be your warmest temperatures of the day. Then the temperatures drop. Then the sun comes out and we try to warm back up again in the afternoon. I just don't think our afternoon temperatures are going to be as warm as will be in the morning, but we'll try to warm up later in the day with plenty of afternoon sunshine. So morning clouds, afternoon sun. Your better chances of rain will come in the morning as well. About 40% of us getting measurable rain, and those that do probably don't get much. 68 in the morning, and then temperatures drop. We'll be in the mid 60s for highs Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but our low temperatures will get noticeably colder. We'll start Thursday morning in the upper 30s and Saturday morning in the upper 30s as well. Here's a look at our first morning weather 7-day forecast. As we head into this weekend, winter begins early Saturday morning with a mostly sunny sky and 64, fairly average for this time of year. 66 with more clouds Sunday. Then we're back in the low 70s early next week with a low rain chance Christmas Eve day.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Hi, good evening. Quinn Ewers was certainly one of the big reasons there were so many expectations on this Longhorn team, but it's been a bit of an up and down season for the Texas quarterback. At his best, he's been spectacular. You look at that Florida game, 5 touchdowns in the ball game, but there have been some inconsistencies, including a problem with interceptions, 2 in the SEC title game. But Sark says it's not just the quarterback, but everybody that has to step up and bounce back.
I have no pause that our guys are going to not respond and be ready to go Saturday for the college football playoffs. And because they've always responded to the adversity that we've been faced with, whether it's been in-game, out of game, facing injuries, whatever that looks like. And they've given me little things along the way to build confidence in me that's what they're capable of. And that's what Quinn has done for me. And like I said, you know, we all have to improve. We all have to be better. If we want to go achieve what we're trying to achieve, which is go win a national championship, we've all got to take our game to another level. And he's no different. Everybody's got to go to a whole nother level. And we have to do it for 4 straight weeks. The first layer of that is a really good Clemson team on Saturday.
Just like any other game. Just try to not build it up too much in my head and just try to go out there and play my game.
We'll get you ready for the game on Saturday. Our pregame show, Texas Game Day, over on KBVO, is at 2 o'clock. Moody Center tonight for the UT women, coming off a win at Richmond on Sunday. They scored a season-low 65 points. Much different story tonight. They were down 8-7. You'll never believe that when you see the score at the end. Jordana Codio getting some early minutes, the reserve from Florida, knocking down the 3, and then the freshman, Brianna Preston, with the little hesitation and the bucket. It was 19 19-12 after one on that Rory Harmon bucket. And then in the second quarter, the Longhorns blitz the Explorers. Preston, that time, the nifty backdoor to Shea Holly. How about 38-9? Texas outscores LaSalle in the second. Codio with the bucket and the foul, and it just kept going. Rory Harmon had 10, the bucket here. Kyla Oldacre led the way with 18. Longhorns score 111 in their victory, and now they've got a tough non-conference game. They will host South Dakota State on Sunday afternoon. They've got 2 wins over ranked teams so far this year. UT men in action against New Orleans on Thursday. Finally, it's called the Showdown. Live golfers, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, PGA Tour golfers, Rory McIlroy, and Scottie Scheffler. How about Rory? Look at that. They played 6-hole increments of different competitions, and the guys in gray from the PGA, they're smiling in the cart. The other guys look miserable on a cold night in Vegas, and that's because they got swept by McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler in the showdown. Don't forget to go to KXAN.com for a lot more sports. We'll be back after this.